Okay, for the other laws and regulation, executive order, or even the Republic Act here that has been passed already for the preservation of our biodiversity, kindly refer to your book na lang. And there are many of that. Okay, the next one, we have here the different techniques or the technologies here that help in the preservation of our biodiversity. First one, we have here cell or tissue culture. So when we speak about cell and tissue culture, try to culture. So when try to culture here, try to allow it to grow or to multiply your tissues or cells here coming from a species. So just like when you are culturing your bacteria, diba, we try to tend to allow it to grow in a culture media and allowing it to grow and multiply at a faster rate. So by having this cell culture and cell tissue here, cell and tissue culture, you allow here the genes. You allow here the species of the different flora and fauna to grow and eventually allowing it to be preserved and able to multiply at a faster rate. The second one, we have here the cryopreservation. So, we speak about the cryopreservation, it's just the storage of your cell, organelles, or tissues, or even your bone construct at a negative temperature or at a freezing temperature, allowing you to store that one for a longer period of time, let's say mga 10 years, but still those cells, tissues, or organelles here are still viable. I mean to say they're still able to grow if you wish here to grow it again. Okay, so that would enable you then to preserve those species of your flora and fauna here, especially for those who are extinct. The third one, we have here advancement in your molecular and genetics that help here. Number one, analyze the different species with their genetic structure. And second one, also help us then to identify the different species here. And lastly, it would allow us then to predict here for our future phenotypes. So again, molecular diagnostic studies here or molecular or advancement in your molecules in molecular and genetics here is a way of identifying your organisms. It's like again your PCR for identification for COVID-19. So it's also like advancement here in your molecular and genetic studies. Okay, the next one we have here the role of the evolution in the biodiversity. So we define first what is evolution. So evolution here is just the changes in the genetic makeup over a period of time. Okay, and basically we have here your evolution could be a micro versus your macro evolution. When we speak about the microevolution, that's changes here occurring only on the changes that occur only the species level. So on the other hand, if you try to merge here a chains in a bigger group, it become here macroevolution. So like what changes already here in the, for example, the genus, the family, or even the entire phylum of your organism here, then it become a macroevolution. So what dictates here our evolution process could be an artificial evolution, could also be artificial selection process, or even by your natural selection process. When speak about the artificial selection process here, so what dictates here what organism are going to live or what organism here going to be exist here, particular generation would be the human. Pag natural selection here, what dictates what going to survive here would be the environment. But of course here, natural selection would always be confounded in the survival of the fittest. So for those who are able to survive in that particular generation are those who were able to have here adapt to the environment. So adaptation is the most important thing for that. So for organism here to survive, then he needs to adapt. If it could not adapt here to the environment, so it die. And eventually the next generation, you will not able to see already the species become extinct because again they were not able to survive because they would not able to have here the adaptations. And their method of adaptation for different species here, also their way of their protection against the harsh environment. Okay, natural selection process are confounded in the following perspective that an individual vary, and their variation is because of the genetic makeup. And that's being dictated here from one generation to the next. Another one, evolution here confers advantages to the next generation. Okay, so For those species here that it try to live for this generation, or for those species here that try to live for this generation, so we may say that this generation species here are much more advanced, okay, compared to the previous one, and they able to survive here because of their product of their adaptation because of from their previous generations. And they try to evolve, they become better, they much fitted here to the environment, and expect here that the newer generation will always be better compared to the previous generation. Okay, now we have here the factors that try to determine here the rate of the evolution. Because these are actually the factor that try to determine how fast the changes in your particular species over a period of time. The first one, we have your environmental changes. Another one, we have your genetic variation of the species. Third one, we have your population size involved. And the fourth one, we have here the generation time in each of the species. Okay, in the last, we have here the process of your speciation. So speak about speciation here will be the production of the new species coming from the previous one because of the interbreeding of the parents. Okay, so it might be, we have here the mechanism of that. You could have here the allopatric, and we have also here the sympatric. Allopatric is just the production of the new species here coming from the parents without geographical isolation. Okay, with geographical isolation. Sympatric naman, so that's the emergence of the new species here without geographical isolation. What do you mean by allopatric and sympatric? Pag allopatric here, like for example, the species here of the insects, let's say the birds in the Philippines here, so it would arise a new, or the baby birds, for example, here because of the mating of the parents, which are the species here only in our country. So it would have not, it's not affected here by the breed or the species coming from another area. So may tatawag siyang geographical isolation or limitation. Sympatric on the other hand, so this is the mating of the two different species here, or the different variety or breeds here coming from different geographical isolations or coming from geographical area. So one from this country, another one from this country, for example, or in one province, go to another province. So without isolating that one, so just allow them to breed and then to mate, they become here the sympatric. Pero pag the new species here arises because only the parents on the same place lang, ang kanilang parents, so that's your allopatric. Pero pag ang parents nila different places, so that's become here the sympatric. Okay, so that's the end of our topic for the biodiversity. Okay, thank you for listening.